Before you dive into buying your new construction home, there are a few things that you need to know. These pointers could save you money and stress, so stick around until the end. The absolute first thing that you need to know about buying new construction is that not all builders are the same. They might all produce a pretty kitchen, but don't just assume because it's new and pretty that it's quality. I really believe that you get what you pay for, so personally, I would never buy low-end or cheaper new construction. Second thing that you need to know is that you absolutely need your own buyer's agent. This process can get really messy when you're dealing with the person who is building your home directly instead of having your own agent. There are a lot of legal contracts and large deposits that go into buying new construction. The worst thing that can happen is that you end up losing your deposits or end up in a sticky, stressful situation because you didn't have someone in your corner explaining things to you along the way. So get yourself a buyer's agent before you start touring homes. With some builders, if you go to your very first tour without your agent, then you cannot use them at all. So make sure you just get your agent first and then start looking into builders and touring homes. And of course, it's really important that you work with an agent who has experience in new construction and is very familiar with the builders in your area. Especially if you're working with a larger builder, each builder kind of has its own reputation because like we said, they're not all the same. So a good agent who has experience in new construction will kind of know the reputation of each builder. Maybe one builder is notorious for having delayed timelines. Another one is notorious for not being great after closing. You want that insight that only your agent will have. Third thing that you need to know about buying new construction is you need to have a flexible timeline. Especially if you are going under contract with the builder before construction begins, there are so many things that can go wrong between when building starts and when it's complete and you can move in. Even things that are completely out of the builder's control, like a global pandemic causing a delay in materials, or even just one of the finishes that you picked out not being available. So the more flexible you can be with your timeline, the better. If you are someone who needs to be out of your rental in exactly 6 months on an exact date, then maybe new construction isn't for you unless you're willing to be in a short-term rental. Which leads us to number 4. You absolutely need to start the process early if you are considering new construction. I just got word that some builders are taking 14 to 16 months to finish homes. So even if you think you are a ways out, get started now because it could take up to a year or a year and a half for your home to be completed. Next, here are a few things that you need to know in regards to your mortgage. So before you start negotiating with a builder or picking out lots, you need to be pre-approved or pre-qualified. A builder may have a preferred lender that they work with, but ultimately it is 100% up to you which lender you work with. So once you sign the contract with the builder and you're officially under contract, typically you'll need to make a full mortgage application within a week or 2. The important thing to know here is that rates change every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So if you go under contract today, but don't close until a year from now, mortgage rates may well look different in a year. Some banks do allow for a longer rate lock, but most banks will only allow you to lock your interest rate for 45 or 60 days. So you really need to make sure you're still comfortable with the numbers if your interest rate does increase a little bit. So again, if you are closing next July, you most likely will not be able to lock in your mortgage interest rate until next May. And you may be able to pay for a rate lock extension if you're predicting for rates to go up, but there is a cost that goes with that. So you'll just have to ask your bank how much that is so that you can determine if it's worth it to you. When you make that mortgage application, your bank will schedule an appraiser to go out to the home to make sure that the home is worth what you're paying for it. So if you're purchasing a home in a large development where other homes have already sold, the appraiser is much easier because the appraiser can just use the other homes that have recently sold that are exactly the same to prove that the value is what it is. Typically, your mortgage company will send the appraiser back out right before closing, just after construction is done. If you chose certain upgrades that maybe cost you, $5,000 or $20,000 on top of the price that you already agreed to pay, an appraiser might not see that upgrade as having the same amount of value as what you paid for it. For example, if you paid $20,000 extra for a certain counter type, an appraiser might not see the house as being worth $20,000 extra. If it turns out that an appraiser thinks the home is worth less than the full full amount of what you're paying for it, then you may need to come out of pocket for the difference. And of course, you still absolutely want to have your own home inspection because no home is perfect and you want to get a second set of eyes on it. Most new construction homes will come with a 1 or 2 year builder warranty, so you want to review that so you fully understand it as well. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be notified every week when I release a new home buyer tip.